680's Richard Southern joins us now. And Richard, new mortgage rules are coming into effect that will force home buyers to actually prove that they can handle higher interest rates.
Yeah, this is really big, Francis. So as of January 1st, if you go to a bank to get a mortgage, they're going to look over your finances. And again, as you say, you're going to have to prove you can handle higher rates down the road. Canada's banking regulator making financial stress tests mandatory, even for buyers who have a down payment of 20% or more. I'm just off the phone with Robert McLister, one of the top mortgage rate experts in the country. He's with ratespy.com, and he says this is one major change.
Compared to all the rules in the past, this is the atom bomb in the mortgage market. I mean, this is the biggest mortgage rule change of all time. But what the banking regulator has done today is require uninsured mortgage borrowers to prove that they can afford a payment that is based on the greater of their actual mortgage rate plus 2 percentage points, or the Bank of Canada benchmark rate, which is currently 4.89%.
Is this going to affect a lot of people? Is it going to prevent a lot of people from getting a mortgage, Robert?
It's going to impact roughly 1 in 6 borrowers. These are folks that have a higher debt load relative to income, so they are going to be shut out from a bank mortgage.
So, Francis, if you don't have good credit history, you'd be forced to pay more for a mortgage from a credit union or from some sort of subprime lender. Bottom line, this could further put the brakes on an already cooling housing market.
Well, talking about putting the brakes on NAFTA, because talks are so far a non-starter for Canada and Mexico.
Yeah, we're just getting word that the talks are going to be extended longer than expected. They're going to be pushed into the first quarter of next year to try and solve what is a big deadlock. Canada and Mexico have reportedly rejected what they see as hardline proposals from the U.S. They push back against U.S. demands on dairy, on autos, on dispute panels and government procurement. U.S. President Trump, of course, has repeatedly threatened to pull the U.S. out of NAFTA. He could do that if he wanted to. At stake, a $1.2 trillion worth of annual trade between the three countries. So talk's not going good, but they're going to go on longer to see if they can see eye to eye, Francis.
And so much NAFTA talk around Bombardier. The stock today skyrocketing, all because the company is giving away a majority stake in its very valuable passenger jet, and this is to Airbus.
What a story. You're looking at the C-Series there. You know, they created this passenger jet, 100 to 150 seats. Boeing had a problem with it. They claimed that Bombardier were selling these jets to Delta in the U.S. at an unfairly low price, so the U.S. government put in place big trade tariffs. Last night, Bombardier sold a just over 50% increase, or a 50% interest in the jet to Airbus, the big European plane maker. Airbus is going to build it at their Alabama plant, circumventing those trade tariffs. Questions, though, of course, about, you know, what sort of deal this is for Canadian taxpayers and Quebec taxpayers. They've bailed out Bombardier for $1 billion, and now the company's basically just giving away for free a 50% increase interest in the jet, Francis. So taxpayers, they're on the hook here, I think.
So the Dow Jones hit 23,000 for the first time, but Richard, the unstoppable rally on Wall Street starting to remind traders of October 1987.
Yeah, we're almost 30 years from the anniversary of so-called Black Monday. Big-time sell-off. But yeah, the Dow just going straight up, closing just 3 points today from the 23,000 mark. It did cross that briefly during the trading session. Took it only 53 trading days to go from 22,000 to 23, and the index is up 5,000 points in 18 months. Big bull market run. A lot of red flags, though. U.S. stocks very historically expensive. They haven't been this expensive since before the dot-com bubble burst in 2000 and before the crash of 1929. But, Francis, every time there's a dip on Wall Street, traders come in and buy it, and it seems like stocks just keep going up and up and up.
Well, let's hope it's a good news story. We'll see.
I hope so. The TSX about 100 points away from its best level.
So, major retail fail. We've spoken about this. The Halloween store that has removed a very controversial costume.
Yeah, big backlash for this online store by the name of HalloweenCostumes.com. Trying to sell an Anne Frank Halloween costume. Yeah. Featured, you know, a beret, a navy dress, and a felt bag tag, destination tag. The description read, "Now your child can play the role of a World War II hero." The owner of that site rightfully apologizing for this, Francis. The costume's been pulled down.
Yeah, and you got to hope no one actually thought about buying it, because
not a good idea.
Sad.
Seems like every Halloween we're talking about some controversial costume, though. Got to be careful.
So, Richard, Canadians are #1, at least when it comes to speed watching on Netflix.
That's right. So the company put out this information today. So this is the number of users that watch a TV season in 24 hours or less. And apparently 11% of Canadians have done that, which is the tops in the world. And let's take a look at the shows which were watched the quickest. #1, Trailer Park Boys, of course, a Canadian production. #2, Gilmore Girls, Fuller House. And rounding it out, Marvel's The Defenders. As well, Francis, Netflix now says it expects to release 80 original films next year as it looks to hit the same sort of scale in movies that it's achieved with TV. They had better than expected earnings in last night, but the company spending big and going into a lot of debt to create all this original production. So we'll see if it pays off. Right now, they don't really have many competitors.
They sure don't. All right. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks.